time moves forward. At least, that's the way it's always moved. Our place in time dictates our perceptions. For wargaming, the forward movement of time puts us in a different place compared to those who participated in the events of the past. It is why wargames of historical events are reconstructed from the future, looking back into the past. Reverse engineering is having a completed item or product broken down into its component parts so it can be recreated again and again. In terms of historical wargames, it is the taking of a completed event and recreating it in game format. The purpose is for the game to account for what has happened, so that the players can place themselves in the same situations as their historical counterparts. One marketing line common with wargames made from the 1960s was how you, the player, were now in the shoes of the commanding general. You make the decisions and change the course of history. A book is a static form of history. A game is interactive. No matter how many times you read the book, the outcome is always the same. But the game allows you to change the outcome in different ways. You could be more aggressive, more defensive, or act in ways that may not have been considered. The game allows for such flexibility so you can explore different options. It is the interaction that makes the reverse engineering insightful. You are not just reading about the past, you are writing a new chapter and seeing the consequences of your decisions. While reverse engineering has many attributes, it does add elements that were not present during the event itself. Namely, as the commander, you have knowledge that your historical counterparts did not possess. It's 6 a.m. on a field inside the country of Belgium. Napoleon looks off into the distance to see the British army opposing his forces. He is disturbed by the rain last night that softened the field. He waits for the sun to dry out the mud so his forces can cross and engage. While the British are strong, brave, and ably led, they are also outnumbered. The advantage is to Napoleon. But he does not know that at the 11th hour, Blücher will arrive on his right flank, turning what is certain victory into certain defeat. Napoleon had sent 30,000 of his own soldiers to prevent Blücher's forces from meeting up with Wellington. It's not that such a meeting was impossible, but rather that Napoleon had acted to prevent it from occurring so he could focus on the British. Napoleon had no choice but to retreat. His army returns to France for the surrender, and Napoleon returns to being in exile, this time on an island far away in the Atlantic, never to return to his country during his lifetime. But you know that Blücher will arrive. It is printed in the rules, the game turn, and presented in counters or blocks that mark the Prussian forces. If Napoleon had known, he most likely would have retreated immediately, knowing he did not have enough time to defeat the British. Or perhaps he would have attacked immediately, taking the chance that the fields would be dry enough for his artillery and soldiers to advance. Either way, the information we have going back to the fields of Waterloo on that fateful day was more information than Napoleon possessed. In that sense, the gamer has the advantage over Napoleon. The catch is that there's no way to eliminate knowledge from the future, unless you have no idea about the event itself and its consequences. For the wargamer, the very knowledge of history works against the understanding of the view of the decision makers. That is the price of reverse engineering history. Admittedly, the disadvantages of reverse engineering cannot be helped, even if you are not aware of the outcome of the battle. The turn order, the arrival of reinforcements, and areas designated as victory conditions will indicate much of what had happened. The lesson is to not ignore the effects of reverse engineering. It is instead to highlight the issues involving recreating history. And history is made by people going forward, while it is recreated by those looking backward. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you next Wednesday.